Most people who fast for belly fat are essentially squeezing a wet sponge over an empty bucket. The effort is real, but the results keep not showing up, and the reason has nothing to do with discipline or how long you fast. There are 4 specific things that silently cancel the fat-burning signal your body is trying to send during your fast, and most people are doing at least 2 of them without realizing it. The frustrating part? They're not hard to fix. In fact, once you see what they are, you'll probably laugh at how small the changes are compared to how much they were costing you. Quick one before we go, always check with your doctor before making significant changes to your fasting routine or diet, especially if you have underlying health conditions. What I share here is educational, not personalized medical advice. Now let's get into it. I was that guy, running a clean window every single day, eating what I thought was fine, staring at a waist measurement that wouldn't budge. And the worst part wasn't the lack of results, it was not knowing why. When you don't know why, you have nowhere to go except harder, more restriction, longer fasts, more suffering. And it still doesn't work. These 4 aren't tips, they're corrections. Each one targets a specific place where fasting effort leaks out, where you're doing the work and your body is quietly routing around it. Fix the leak, the effort finally lands. Let's go. Here's the part nobody wants to hear. Your breakfast meal is probably undoing more of your progress than any mistake you make during the fast itself. I know, you put in 16 hours. You earned that meal. I've been exactly there. Opened the eating window like I was breaking out of prison, and inhaled whatever was fastest. And I couldn't figure out why my afternoons crashed, and my waist wasn't moving. Here's what was actually happening. After a quality fast, your body is primed, insulin low, fat-burning enzymes active, growth hormone elevated. The whole system is tuned and ready. Then you eat in a way that triggers the largest insulin spike of your day right at the moment when your body is most sensitive to it. Think of it like this. Your fast just spent hours building a fire. The breakfast meal is either kindling that keeps it going, or it's a bucket of water straight on the flames. A high-carb first meal after fasting hits harder than the same meal outside a fasted state. Insulin floods in, fat burning shuts down, and that spike lingers. Sound familiar? You break fast, feel fine for 20 minutes, then foggy and tired by mid-afternoon wondering what you did wrong. The fix: protein and healthy fat first. Eggs, meat, avocado, olive oil, just for the first meal. Your insulin response stays low, the fat-burning state extends into your eating hours instead of getting killed at the door, and you stay full longer because protein signals satiety differently than carbs, slower and steadier, no spike and crash. Now this is where most guys think, okay, first meal is dialed, I'm good. But what happens in the next few minutes after that first bite, the speed of it, is quietly canceling the benefit for a lot of people. And this one surprised me when I first understood it. Nobody talks about this one in the context of fasting, which is exactly why it keeps costing people weeks of progress they can't explain. Be honest with yourself. After 16 hours of fasting, how fast are you eating? Because I know how fast I was eating. Plate gone in 8 minutes. That primal part of the brain takes over. We've waited long enough. Here's the problem. Your gut and your brain are not on the same network. The satiety signal takes 15 to 20 minutes to travel from your stomach to your brain. If you're eating fast enough, you've already consumed 40% more than you needed by the time that message arrives. You're not overeating because you lack discipline. You're racing a signal that can't move any faster. And overeating after a fast hits differently. Your body reads the pattern, fasting followed by consistent surpluses as a feast and famine cycle. The biological response: protect reserves going into the next scarcity period. Your overnight fat burning gets quietly throttled. All because the eating was too fast. The fix isn't eating less, it's eating at a pace your biology can track. Fork down between bites, water through the meal. Give it 15 minutes before deciding if you need more. Most guys report feeling satisfied on noticeably less food within the first week. Not because they're restricting, because they're finally eating at a speed their body can process. I want to know how fast you're actually eating after your fast, because I was the guy with a clean plate in 8 minutes thinking I was doing everything right. Drop your honest answer in the comments. But eating pace is only half of what happens inside the eating window, because there's something most people drink during the fast that's running interference on everything else, and this one is going to step on some toes. I'm not here to take your coffee. The Kong lifestyle does not involve suffering through mornings in silence. But what's in the bottle during the fasting window is often the thing guys never think to look at, and it's quietly working against everything else they're doing right. The first culprit: flavored drinks marketed as fasting safe. 0 calories on the label, sweetness in every sip. The problem isn't the calories, it's the signal. Sweetness alone, even without sugar, triggers a cephalic phase insulin response. Your body tastes something sweet, anticipates a sugar load, and starts releasing a small amount of insulin before anything even hits your stomach. Not a massive spike, but enough to put the brakes on the fat-burning state you spent 14 hours building. Ever felt like your fast was going great, but energy was inconsistent and hunger crept in earlier than it should? That might be exactly why. The second one surprises people. Protein shakes during the fasting window. I see this constantly. Guy is committed to his fast and committed to his gains, just having a quick shake mid-morning. Here's the reality. Protein triggers an insulin response. Not as sharp as carbs, but real enough to break the fat-burning state. If the shake is in your eating window, it belongs there. If it's in your fasting window, your fast is over whether the label agrees or not. If it has flavor, sweetness, or macronutrients, it's an eating window ingredient wearing a fasting window costume. Now, I've covered the first meal, the eating speed, and what you're drinking. Those three alone are enough to change results for most people. But the fourth correction is the one that most fasting protocols refuse to acknowledge, and it's the reason some of you have been doing everything right and still stuck. This is the one most fasting content will never tell you, because it's harder to sell a protocol that admits it might be structurally wrong for your situation. Every standard fasting recommendation bears one assumption, that your stress, sleep, and energy curve are neutral. That a 16-8 window works the same for a guy with 8 hours of sleep and a calm afternoon, as it does for a guy running on 6 hours of sleep, grinding through a high-pressure job, and still fasting at 2 p.m. while his stress hormones are maxed out. Those are not the same situation. Not even close. I had a guy, mid-30s, sales job, 2 kids, maybe 6 hours of sleep, fasting 18 hours a day for 4 months, waist not moving, convinced his body was broken. We didn't change his window. We moved it. He was fasting straight through his most stressful hours and breaking fast at night when his body was finally calm. We flipped it. Earlier eating window, fasting through the recovery hours. 3 weeks later, his waist started moving for the first time in months. Same discipline. Different timing. When cortisol is already elevated from stress or poor sleep, and you're also fasted, your body reads the combination as a genuine threat, not burning fat efficiently. It reads protect the reserves. And what it protects hardest is visceral belly fat, which has more cortisol receptors than any other fat depot in your body. So it locks that down and burns muscle instead. You're fasting hard, losing muscle, and protecting the exact belly fat you're trying to eliminate. Gorilla Mind isn't about doing the hardest version of everything. It's about knowing where the effort actually lands. A guy using a hammer on a screw is still working, just pointed at the wrong problem with the wrong tool. Fasting is a tool for freedom, not a prison. The moment your protocol is creating more stress than it's solving, something in the approach is wrong, not your willpower. The approach. Look at your actual day. Where does stress peak? Where does your body have the conditions to burn instead of protect? Build your window around that answer, not around a generic protocol written for someone else's life. The complete breakdown is in the pinned comment. First meal structure, pace cues, what's actually safe to drink during your window, and how to audit your timing against your real stress curve. Everything in one place, ready to apply before your next fast. Grab it now. And if this video just changed the way you've been thinking about your protocol, subscribe, because the guys who stay here stop guessing and start actually moving the needle. The first thing guys notice is the morning. Lighter, clearer, hunger calm instead of aggressive. You feel it before you can measure it, and when you feel it the first time, you know something is actually working. The second shift is the afternoon. The 2 p.m. wall that most guys assume is just the tax you pay for being an adult. It fades. The crash was always downstream of the meal. Fix the meal, fix the afternoon. The third shift is the slow one, the waste. The scale reports water, glycogen, and noise. The tape reports fat. 3 to 4 weeks of these 4 corrections running consistently, and the tape starts moving in a way it wasn't before. Same discipline, better direction. That's the whole game. It was never about genetics. It was about leaks. And now the leaks are closed. 4 corrections. Each one targeting a specific leak in a protocol you've probably been running harder than it deserved. Wrong first meal. Wrong eating speed. Wrong drinks in the window. Wrong timing for your actual life. Fix those 4, and the effort you've already been putting in finally lands where it was supposed to go. Close the leaks, the belly catches up, know the game you're playing. Go focus on the carcass.